Hi guys, welcome back for my very first special segment, and I'm very excited to have my friend and my doula, Irina, come and talk to you guys about what is a doula? What is the role of a doula? How does one find a doula?
Right.
I mean, all those questions one has. So, first of all, what is a doula?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Teresa, for having me here.
Of course.
Okay. So, what is a doula? People also ask me. Doula is a birth professional who is strictly not medical. Doula is someone to mother the mother, to really support her emotionally, psychologically during the very transformational period in her life. It's a life-changing experience, every childbirth, and somehow in the modern setup in the hospitals, that kind of one-to-one approach of somebody who is with the mother to support her is mostly lacking. So doulas as a profession came from that demand. That there is someone knowledgeable about the process of birth, not necessarily medical, that really keep like spirit to spirit, heart to heart with the mother, to encourage her, to support her, but also to provide some certain skills and knowledge that can help her during that process. Yeah, so that's doula, and doula supports the mother in any choices that she makes during her childbirth journey. So whether it's a medicated birth or fully unmedicated birth, hypnobirth, water birth, so there are many different kinds, right?
Which we experienced all of them pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be many different scenarios, right?
Yeah.
As we experience.
Oh yeah, and that I think for me that was really cool, and how you were so supportive each step of the way. We started out with a water birth, wasn't working, and then we went into natural, and then we did an epidural, and then eventually we did a cesarean section. But you were still supportive every step of the way, and that was so important.
Because I'm not an examiner there.
Right.
So like, okay, do as I wanted. No, it's really going with the flow of how the birth is really evolving and taking the place to be. It can never be predicted, and every body, every woman is different, every baby is different. So how is it gonna fit all together? It's never to be predicted. So yeah, but what woman needs is really support and encouragement and reassurance everything is okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, especially if it's your first, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen or what's happening now. And it's just so... And like I'm familiar with doulas, but here in the Philippines, I'm noticing it's still very early on. Like people are just starting to learn about conscious birthing and what doulas do and the roles they play. So how does one even begin to look for a doula?
Well, fortunately, there is already quite some progress. When I was pregnant with my first child, about 3-4 years ago, there was really nothing. There were some childbirth education classes, which is great, but nothing like doula support. So I haven't heard of that notion. So it was really during my pregnancy journey that I discovered just by reading it, and. I took a childbirth education class with a wonderful couple, Mani and Betty St. Louis. Yeah, so, and Betty, she's a childbirth educator, was already taking the course to become a doula. So then I had my own pregnancy journey and the childbirth experience of beautiful home birth. It was very inspiring and transformative. So I also decided that this is what I want to do, to really help other women through this chapter in their lives. So at that point we were already 2 doulas in the country, Betty and me, and there was a group formed, Gentle Birth in the Philippines, with more people involved. So there is also a collective of Pinay doulas right now. So it's a collective of I think 6 or 7 trained doulas.
So 6 or 7 Filipina doulas.
Trained doulas.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So there's really not anymore like 1 to 3. There are about like 10 women out there who are providing support to mothers during pregnancy.
And then there's a source, like you guys have a website, a collective website or
no,
Facebook
there's a
page?
Facebook group,
Okay.
Gentle Birth in the Philippines.
Okay, we'll put all that links below.
Yeah, Gentle Birth in the Philippines, very
Okay.
active. It's about 6,000-7,000 members by now.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Yeah, like, and given that we started like 3 years ago, so it really resonated because a lot of moms that join, like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't know that before? Not just necessarily about doulas, but the approach to childbirth can be different. That you are entitled to question your care provider, right? You are entitled to choose the right care provider for yourself, and it is your human right to be treated with dignity and gentleness during your childbirth, right? The birth of your baby, which unfortunately not always the case, unfortunately. So yeah, so that resonated a lot with the public out there, and yeah, so there is a lot of interest and demand, and there is fortunately more trained doulas right
So that's
now.
great.
Yeah.
So now that there's a lot of interest, if one was to go look for a doula,
Yeah.
how would I know that
Okay.
doula is a good match for me? Like, how do you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like with any personal profession, even by choosing a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Right? So does the person resonate with me? Does the person share my values? Just the sixth sense, you know, what is like, because doula is gonna share the most intimate moment in your life, right? One of the most intimate moments in your life, and the most intense moments in your life, which is giving birth to a baby.
Yes.
Right. So it's really a very personal, intuitive feeling. If this is the right person for me to be that close, right? Yeah. So it's good to meet with a couple of doulas and just listen to what they're saying, to listen to how their approach is, and just go with what you feel the best.
So it's really intuitive. It's your gut instinct.
It's really intuitive, but also depends on what kind of birth you plan.
Right.
Right. So if you want really natural medicated birth, water birth, ask questions like how doula sees that and what experience she has in handling this kind of birth. Or if you're more into medicated birth and more scheduled and you just want some emotional support, also ask if doula is okay with that, and how if she will not bring her own judgments, if she's too of a pronatal kind of type.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want somebody who is not judgmental, whatever path the birth is gonna take.
Of course.
But who shares with you your initial vision. Right.
Okay. So now I found the doula I like. Like you and I got along.
Right.
We spoke the same language.
Exactly.
We did yoga, meditation.
Yeah.
And then so now, what's the first step? How do we start working together?
Yeah.
Actually, I know how Irina works, and she's amazing, and she's wonderful, and I highly, highly recommend her.
Thank you.
But for one who is not as accessible to Manila, how does one, where do you start? How do you analyze the client? Or analyze might not be the right word. How do you begin to even start prepping for the birth preparations?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in every doula package of doula services, there are prenatal meetings included.
Yes.
It can be 1, 2, or 3, depends on the needs. And that all starts again with the conversation, right? So how do you envision your birth? So what do you want to know? Or maybe some comes with a very specific, very specific vision for their birth. Some really don't know where to begin, and it's very different. It's very personal.
Well, you introduced hypnobirthing to me.
All right.
I didn't. All I knew is I wanted water birth, but you introduced hypnobirthing, and then you gave us all these manuals that Sean and I read.
Yes.
And I was happy to say that Sean was actually doing it.
Exactly.
He was doing it at night.
Yeah.
He would do all the phrases, and he was even doing it during right before I gave birth.
Right.
So I was like, it really worked.
It
if anything, it hypnotized
and
him.
how did it feel for you?
It felt really calming.
It felt very calming.
I just felt like because of the hypnotizing and the phrases that was said, it was a certain programming that made me feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, because you're a person who is into yoga, who is into body-mind connection.
Yes.
So I feel that would resonate with you.
Yes.
It's already something that you practice in your life. And to implement that on your birth, it's like a no-brainer, right? So I do suggest hypnobirthing. It's more of a self-study. So far, there is no one who's teaching hypnobirthing in the Philippines.
So you had to get accredited outside,
you
right?
have to get accredited outside, So at the moment, it's just self-study. Self-study, listening to the tracks and learning the actual self-hypnosis and technique of deep relaxation. And that works. That really works during the birth to actually enter that birthing space, the birthing state in a very calm and relaxed way, right? Which I think you experience through the most part of your labor, actually through the whole part of your labor. You remain calm and collected, and only when things are really not working out, you took a very conscious decision. Okay, I need some help here, right?
But even that was like, I was very open to it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't so, I thought I was going to be more resistant because I had this idea in my head of, I wanted a beautiful water birth and all the home births I see and, you know, my friends' stories. I really wanted that. But there came a point where I just had to allow things to happen, which I think was also part of the hypnobirthing language that I picked up. You know, one of my favorite things I loved doing was the exercises. What do you call those?
The rebozo.
The rebozo exercise.
It's a long scarf that you kind of envelop or wrap around the mama's tummy. And
so you're on your all fours, basically.
So like one part of preparation is mental and emotional, and the tools like hypnobirthing, so relaxations, breathing, come of huge help for that. The other part is actual physical preparation, right? So prenatal yoga and some of the spinning babies exercises for the best fetal positioning, so because it really matters how the baby is positioned inside for the easiness of the entire birthing process. It all matters. So during the prenatal visits we touch upon that and practice.
Gosh, I love that. Okay, so this first video is just about what is a doula and what is the preparations. So we've talked about a few things. Irina, we've talked about conscious birthing in the Philippines or Gentle Birth Philippines and hypnobirthing. So I'm going to put all those links below. So there's a way for you to connect with Irina if you have any more questions. So that's it for now. Just signing off. Please stay tuned because we have a part 2, which is what's going to happen during the labor and how a doula comes into play. All right, so see you later.